Number 2.
On debate, Senator Ravalia.
Thank you, Speaker. Honourable Senators, it is my pleasure to rise to speak to Senator Simon's inquiry that calls on our chamber to explore the challenges and opportunities that municipalities face and the importance of understanding and redefining the relationship between Canada's municipalities and our federal government. Echoing the sentiments from our honourable colleagues, Senators Simons, Cotter, Foray and Sorensen, I would like to emphasize that our constitutional architecture was created in 1867, at a time when 80% of people did not live in municipalities. Now it's the reverse, where most people do. Our municipalities are the front line of governance and have the most impact on people's daily needs, including things such as garbage collection, public transportation, healthcare services, affordable housing, amongst other services. This drastic shift leaves us with the questions and issues on scales that were never contemplated at the time of Confederation. From a constitutional perspective, municipalities are creatures of statutes. They only have the powers that are devolved from the province. They have no independent constitutional status, meaning the province can take away these powers at will. As our colleagues have outlined, recent Supreme Court of Canada decisions have indicated those municipal powers should be interpreted broadly. This leads us to the question that Senator Simons has raised. What role does the federal government play in helping support municipalities carry out their essential functions while recognizing the constitutional constraints? Representing the province of Newfoundland and Labrador at this level, I'd like to take this as an opportunity to share what my provincial government has been exploring to further enable our municipalities to respond to the ever-evolving issues raised by residents. I'd like to thank City Councillor for Ward 4, Ian Froud, as well as the CEO of Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador, Craig Pollitt, for all the work they do for our municipal governments and for sharing with me their experience and expertise in addressing these critical issues. First, I'd like to start by providing a bit of historical context for the municipal sector in Newfoundland and Labrador, which is relatively young. The first municipal incorporation was in St. John's in 1888, followed by Windsor Station in 1938, almost 50 years later, which was later renamed Windsor. Windsor eventually amalgamated with the town of Grand Falls. Most of the municipalities today were incorporated in the 1960s and 70s. At one point, there were well over 300 municipalities and over 1,000 communities. This accelerated pace of development, after 50 years of dormancy, was driven primarily by the financial supports that appeared in the initial decade or so after Newfoundland and Labrador's confederation with Canada in 1949. Funding was available to support much-needed infrastructure work, but few communities had the organizational capacity to receive or manage this financial support. Hence, municipal councils became the primary means of receiving funds, and incorporation was encouraged across the province. Today, most municipal governments play a much more complex and embedded role in the lives of the residents they serve. In addition, the legislative and regulatory environments in which municipal governments operate has become much more complex and demanding. Many simply do not have the administrative, financial, and/or technical capacity to comply with the legislative requirements such as financial reporting, bylaw enforcement, federal wastewater effluent regulations, workplace health and safety regulations, and drinking water and wastewater system requirements. Currently, Newfoundland and Labrador has a population of approximately 530,000 people, and there are 275 municipalities scattered across my province. 78% of our municipalities have a population of fewer than 1,000 residents. The sheer number of communities and a duplication of services has created a huge administrative and financial strain. Towns are facing significant challenges, such as aging populations, outmigration, uncontested elections, the ability to form committees and councils, and a lack of economic opportunities. Some municipalities are struggling to deliver services to remain viable. Many towns are becoming unsustainable and unable to engage in economic development or attract new residents, businesses, and professionals, such as healthcare providers. It is clear that we need to take steps to help support the governing structure that municipalities operate within. Building on public consultations and extensive research, a joint working group on regionalization was established in 2020 to make recommendations to the Minister of Municipal and Provincial Affairs on a plan for regionalization. The group was comprised of representatives of municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador, the professional municipal administrators, and representatives from the Department of Municipal and Provincial Affairs. A thorough review and analysis of the recommendations is currently being conducted by my government in Newfoundland and Labrador, with the goal of finalizing a comprehensive plan for regionalization for the province. Regionalization would allow for well-integrated planning, more transparent and accountable municipal governments, improved administration and operational capacities, fair and equitable taxation, and the ability to attract and welcome new residents, professionals, and tourists. Municipalities are experiencing great examples of communities sharing services, and they are already seeing these benefits. These examples include access to regional economic development opportunities, fire protection services, land use planning, and infrastructure planning, including water systems. Building upon existing collaborations and service sharing will help position communities for economic growth and the ability to be sustainable. By pooling resources, regional governments enhance capacity of what municipalities are able to offer to their residents. Honourable colleagues, healthy and sustainable communities are the building blocks of a prosperous province and a prosperous country. Woven together, they comprise the social fabric of a dynamic, robust nation. I hope we can continue to investigate, within and beyond this chamber, how all levels of government can collaborate to help support our vibrant communities within Newfoundland and Labrador and across all provinces and territories from coast to coast to coast. Thank you. Merci. Walalio.